This is the new Kia Soul, and at first glance it does seem as though it appeals to people who have a very acquired taste in all things quirky.
The original Soul was released in 2008, and you might have heard me talk about this before, but the motor trade was banjaxed, as was the whole country in 2008, and it still is, sort of. Even in 2012, Kia only managed to sell 28 Souls in total, so this one doesn't exactly have big shoes to fill. But Kia have their sights set on selling this new Soul in the hundreds in 2015, and in order to do that, they've made some really radical changes. First, they've built the new Soul on an entirely new platform. Now, I can't imagine the kind of person who's interested in buying a Soul cares that much about platform technology when it comes to cars, but it does make the car stiffer, so it's safer in a collision. There's also more room inside, and it's more comfortable to drive. Kia have also changed the dimensions of their new Soul, and while manufacturers are constantly trying to figure out ways of reducing the external footprint of a car while maximising the space on the inside, it sounds very technical, and it is. It's a very difficult thing to get right. Kia have adopted a far more traditional approach to making the car bigger, and they've, well, just made the car bigger. Sounds simple. It's 20mm longer and 15mm wider. Okay, it is 10mm shorter than the old model, but you still get lots of headroom. And this car doesn't feel that big to drive, even though they've made it a little bit bigger in almost every way. It does feel still very similar to a traditional hatchback. Around town, the Soul is very easy to drive. The clutch is nice and light. The gears, while they're not the most direct and the most obvious or the sharpest, they are, I have to say, very easy to slot in and out of position. Now, there are some steering modes that you can choose. I'm in Comfort at the moment here, but if I select Sport, it firms up the steering. Now, I actually can notice quite a difference in the weight in the steering once I press that button. The only criticism that I have is it's on a Soul. I don't really need sport steering on a car that looks like this. I just don't feel compelled to drive the backside out of it. This is the 1.6 litre diesel EX Soul, which costs €24,995, and you do get an awful lot of kit for your money. Things like Bluetooth and a reversing camera and sensors, aircon and cruise control. The problem as I see it is that for the same money you can buy a Kia Ceed or a Ceed SW, and both of those cars offer you a little bit more practicality. The seating position in the Soul is near on perfect. You're perched nice and high so you get a good field of vision out in front of you, and that's helped also by the fact that this A-pillar, this bit running down here, is 20mm thinner on this model than it is on the old Soul. So you've got a nice field of vision out in front of you. I can see clearly out the back. The wing mirrors are huge. You also get a reversing camera, and the steering wheel is absolutely beautiful. I have to say, they've gotten it spot on. It actually reminds me a little bit like BMW's steering wheel. You've got a really compressed, small, circular airbag here, and the buttons are clearly laid out, nice and big, not too cluttered. Great job.
The boot in the old model Soul was pretty tiny and fairly exclusionary because of it. This new model is a decent improvement and there's some clever underfloor storage compartments. Still though, I think that future iterations of the Soul should look to go and make the boot even bigger. It's hardly impractical, but there certainly is room for improvement.
And so the Soul is really for people who want to just stand out from the crowd, people who want to spice up their journey by having flashing lights around their speakers. It's for people who are sick to the back teeth of regular hatchbacks but don't want to sacrifice practicality. It's actually for more people than the sales figures would suggest.